Good morning, everybody. It's a Saturday morning, and welcome to the Rams Review Preview Show. And we are game 20, I believe. And we are going to Hillsborough, up the road, an hour or so away, to face Sheffield Wednesday, who are going through a situation at the moment that we are too familiar with, and to discuss all about those trials and tribulations and those woes that the Sheffield Wednesday fans are going through is Ash from the Wednesday podcast. Ash, good morning, sir.
Morning, Chris. Very good morning on this lovely Saturday morning. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Well, the Wednesday Week podcast is a friend of the show, and I think you guys and girls do a fantastic job there overseeing and covering everything that is Sheffield Wednesday. So it's always a pleasure, and we'll get straight to it.
Thank you.
It's shit at the moment, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's a nightmare for you, and you know
Yeah.
we've been there. How are you feeling?
I tell you what, Chris, it's a bit of a mixed emotions. Obviously, the off-field antics of our previous owner has caused us some issues on the pitch. But yeah, it's a strange feeling. For your club to go into administration and then to sell out nearly 30,000 in the next home match is a weird one. And the relief of going into administration, yes, that comes with the points deduction. But yeah, it's a strange old feeling. Minus 12 points, but light at the end of the tunnel with regards to the ownership of Sheffield Wednesday.
So where are we at with that? So obviously we sit back and it brings back horrible memories of us as we're reading all the stories that are coming out of Hillsborough. Where are we at the moment with the administration? Are we at a stage of offers on the table, or is it still sort of due diligence? I think is the word that administrators like to use.
Yeah, so it's currently at the minute there was a couple of weeks ago there was a need for any potential bidders to stump up the proof of funds of about 50 million pounds. So any potential buyers wanted to come for Sheffield Wednesday had to prove they had 50 million pound readily available. And we believe there was about 11 of those suitors that came forward. So then the administrators had put a loose date of the 5th of December, which is obviously come and gone now, for the preferred bidder status. So obviously to pick one of these guys or girls or consortiums, whoever it is, um, to move forward to the next stage. That date came and went, and the administrators put a statement out saying that there's going to be a bit more time needed for that, which I don't know if that's good or bad. We just don't know. It's a tough one, but yeah, at the moment we're in a little bit of a limbo. There's not a great deal come out from the administrators, which is could be good, could be bad. You don't want a lot of these things playing out in the press and social media. So just at the minute, there's always the names bandied about. We've heard Mike Ashley, John Texter, the Walton family who owned the Walmart and Asda and all that good stuff, and other sports owners from the US. So at the minute, yeah, it's a bit quiet, but there's things moving. We're led to believe so. Yeah, it's just in a bit of a void for Sheffield Wednesday at the minute regarding the ownership.
It's always worrying that English heritage and original members of the Football League, like Sheffield Wednesday, are almost becoming, and other clubs, to be fair, train sets for very rich US businessmen. And it's sad to think that that's the way going forward. On the other hand, they bring Disney and Hollywood and money with them. So I guess you're looking for that opportunity to come your way. What I will say about preferred bidders, Derby went through a preferred bidder, and it, excuse me, a gentleman by the name of Chris Kirchner was chosen, who was an American businessman who allegedly had money involved with golf and all kinds of things, and he's now in prison. It was a complete fraud. So we also had a Spanish lad who claimed to be some boxing promoter and what have you, and he was putting all kinds of things on Instagram about his house and what he just bought, and then we find out that it was a load of, I nearly said a word that ended in Olix then, but yeah, that sort of
It,
gives you the picture. So this is that time, isn't it, Ash, where you really want a name that's solid to come forward.
it is. there's two thoughts of it, and I don't speak for Wednesday fans, obviously, but this is my personal take on it. Is that one of the names, and I know we spoke earlier on our preview show about Mike Ashley. That is one name that is known to football fans, not just Newcastle fans, but football fans in general. And his name's been mentioned. He apparently has put a low ball offer in, which you wouldn't expect anything less from Mike Ashley. He is a solid businessman. He's got the history of being a businessman, and he's not gone away. It's not. I think it was 20 million he wanted to pay. But the slight thing is though is for Sheffield Wednesday, and what we're led to believe is that the purchase price has to hit 30 million. So the 30 million is so that all the creditors are paid their 25p in the pound that are owed to them. So if that doesn't meet the 30 million pound, then there's a potential for Sheffield Wednesday to have a 15-point deduction next season, because they won't have cleared all their creditors' debts. So that is the magic number that's been banded around, and Mike Ashley came in with 20 million apparently. These are all rumours, of course, but that's all we've got to go on at the minute. And there's others. So yeah, Mike Ashley is obviously, we know what he did at Newcastle. He was the owner of Coventry City Stadium that they've just bought as well. He had some dealings with Rangers up in Scotland. So he's a credible businessman, and you've got history, but then you've got others from America, like you say, Chris, that you probably wouldn't know or heard of. So what do you do? Do you side on the fact that you've got a credible multi-billionaire English guy that's had English companies and football clubs before, or do you go for no doubt another multi-billionaire from overseas that might not understand the English game? We've been there with the previous owner, and that is where we are at the minute. So it's a hard one. There's going to be Sheffield Wednesday fans with their thoughts on who they'd like, who they'd want. But really, realistically, we don't have that much of a say. And whoever it is, you just got to trust them that they're going to come and do the best for Sheffield Wednesday. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, but put the money that we desperately need into Sheffield Wednesday, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. I don't know if you've been to Hillsborough lately, Chris, but it's a lovely old ground, tired in places.
You
It
sound
needs
like an estate agent.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell it. Anyone watching? Yeah, it is. It's our home. It's got tons of history. It's got its negative history as well, but it needs a hell of a lot of money spending on it. So there's money to buy the club, and then there's obviously the money to run the club and also get it up to scratch as well. So it's not going to be a cheap purchase, to be
No,
honest.
no. I always say, and we'll put the administration to one side because we need to be positive on this podcast preview show to give Sheffield Wednesday fans a glimmer of hope. I always say that when someone offers 20 million and then turns around and says that they're going to put 30 million into the club, I think you've got to be careful what you wish for, because Mike Ashley is on the borders of both Derbyshire and Yorkshire. He lives right literally on the edge, allegedly. I don't know exactly where he lives for people who think I stalk him. But he's definitely sniffing around both clubs still. Is the rumour that he wants to get back involved with the Championship club, and the two on his doorstep are both huge clubs, Sheffield Wednesday and Derby County. So if you get Mike Ashley, I think what you will get is a very good steering wheel who will stay very straight on the road and will not. I think you got to be careful what you wish for with football takeovers. You could have this mad, sheikh or American businessman with billions behind him, but ultimately will leave you in the shit when they realise that actually the English football pyramid is a lot harder to get up to the top than you think. It's not like American sports where franchises make sure that if the shit is the fan in America, Ash, they just go to another city. Let's be completely honest.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in English football. And to get to the promised land of the Premier League, I always say to people again, be careful what you wish for, because that is a poison chalice that you need 500, 600 million quid to have a remote chance of staying in there. So I always say, get a solid foundation in. Mike Ashley would give you that, and then steer yourself back to the Championship. and do it by bit. We've got David Clowes now, who we call him the steward of the football club. We don't use the word owner because I think the word owner is something that doesn't really suit me, to be honest, with a football club. But he's stewarding the club in the right direction, not being daft. So there is hope for you out there, Ash. But we'll leave that to one side because I think that will resolve itself, and we both don't want to get into legal. Uh,
No. Yeah,
lawsuits from all kinds of administration. So Sheffield Wednesday at the moment are -9. You have
yeah.
that huge one win on the board. Who was that against?
Portsmouth away.
Ah, okay. And was that deserved? Was that lucky? Because their season's falling apart at the moment. So you're reeling them in, Ash. I think you are only 26 behind them.
Yeah, no, it was a deserved win. And honestly, Chris, if you look at some of the games with away at Birmingham, quite thing is it's our away games that we've performed a lot better. So away at Birmingham, they equalised in the 90 plus minute. Tuesday night against Watford away, they equalised in the 97th plus minute. Um, so yeah, it was deserved against Portsmouth. It was a really good win on the road. But at Hillsborough, we are really struggling. I don't know what it is, to be honest. It's the supporters are there. They've come out in droves since the administration. Obviously, we had all the boycotting of going to the games, but once well, you're right, owner, yeah, the guy left, should we say, the fans have turned up. And away fans, we've got a really good away following, fantastic away following, and I think that's what spurred the guys on the pitch. But yeah, it's a tough old season. I'll admit one win in the 19 and should we call it half games because obviously we got called off at Blackburn last week. So after 60 minutes got abandoned for their lack of playing service in the championship, which I'll not talk about because it gets round my nerves a little bit. But um, yeah, it's a tough old season, mate.
Well, we won't talk about the Wenger boys. Oh, no, no, it's not the Wenger boys, is it? Who own Blackburn? What they're called?
The
Anyway, we'll move on.
Venkies.
The Venkies. Yeah, well,
Was
they,
it the chicken? Are the chicken farmers or something
yeah,
like that? Is it?
something like that. And they hate us anyway because we stole John Eustace from them and Lewis Travis and Andres Fireman and Danny Barth and the list may continue. In January, he'll probably go back to his old club and pillage a few more. So I'm going through your team list at the moment, and there's a lot of youth and a lot of names that I recognise and a lot of names that I don't recognise.
Yeah.
Like looking at you, you've got five keepers. Bloody hell! Although I'm looking at the likes of Logan Stretch and
Yeah.
Killian Barrett and Jack Phillips, who looks about 16, and then you've got Piers Charles, who looks even younger, and he's got the number one.
He
Is it a
is.
case of literally now it's youth in there with a sprinkle of experience like Dominic Iorfa, we know about Max Lowe, who must be the most hated man in Sheffield for playing for both clubs. He was at Derby and he was a very good fullback, but I think his
Mhm.
ego got the better of him, and I think you got to be careful what you wish for. Liam Cooper, there's
Yeah.
a name. He's got to be only just this side of 40. Ernie Weaver, is that a relative to a Weaver from the past?
No, Nicky Weaver, no, the goalkeeper is not, no. Yeah, Chris, if you would have played us a couple of months ago, I would have said yes, it's very much a mix of youth and experience. Unfortunately, a lot of our youth players, Ernie Weaver is out probably till I think it's April time, so it's probably his season's done. Absolute goldmine find of a centre half. I tell you what, he's going to be a real good player, and we'll struggle to keep hold of him. Also, we've got a striker, George Brown, who scored a couple of goals for us. He's 18 stroke 19. He's been out injured as well. So we were forced to play these young guys earlier on in the season, and obviously to our detriment and their detriment, they've picked up knocks and probably playing through the pain barrier as a young lad would do, playing for Sheffield Wednesday or for any club in that, getting the chance in the first team. Um, but no, over the last few weeks, we've got more senior players in. Um, but the problem is those senior players that are playing probably aren't up to championship standard. Um, we've still got Barry Bannon. Yes, 48,000th year old Barry Bannon is still in the centre of midfield. He's still the captain of the club. Um, Liam Palmer is there as well. 470 appearances, I think he is now for Sheffield Wednesday. Um, but then you mentioned Pierce Charles in the goalkeeper situation. So Pierce Charles is an outstanding talent at goalkeeper. 19-year-old, Northern Ireland international. He's been out injured all season, hence why we had the experienced Ethan Horvath from Cardiff. So he was Cardiff's third choice keeper that we managed to get in on a emergency loan. Very hit and miss. He's made some howlers, but he made some outstanding saves as well. So, but Pierce Charles came back last week, so he's back from his injury. He's Sheffield Wednesday's number one, and he's a great goalkeeper. Real bright future for him. Hopefully that's at Sheffield Wednesday. But as these things always pan out, there's young talent get picked up, don't they, and move on. So yeah, we did have a mix of youth and experience, but it's getting to more experience now. But just that experience is probably not at the championship level. And yeah, you mentioned Liam Cooper. We brought Liam Cooper in and Nathan Redmond as emergency loans in. So the EFL let us sign these players. Liam Cooper's looked good when he's played, really good, commanding experienced centre half. Nathan Redmond played, I think he played something like 9 minutes last week, and then he's out injured now. So,
we we we've been there before, mate. We had Kemar Roof, and there's another story. He might be available. He'll probably end up on your team sheet at some point. Although I think he's at Warsaw now, I believe. Just a quick question, and looking at your first team sheet, are the administrators starting to pillage and remove people from their positions, which is an unfortunate situation with administration? Like, you've got an incredible 20 staff looking after your first team, and I'm thinking, wow, that is a big outlay of cash for a week to week running of a club. Is there a case of Sheffield Wednesday have got far too many? And this sounds really bad because obviously talking about people's jobs here, but
yeah.
why is there so many staff for a team that clearly is struggling?
So it seems like we've got one backroom staff member for one on-field. They've got their own minder. I think we've got more off-field staff than we have playing
It's
staff.
unbelievable. It's
uh,
unbelievable.
honestly, Chris, that is a great point that I've not heard anyone else mention. To be honest, we've not talked about it on our podcast, but I think it might be a thing I might bring up on next week's show. But no, the situation for Sheffield Wednesday was obviously the guys and girls at the club weren't paid for. I think it was 7 out of 9 months or something silly like that with the previous owner. Um, and there was a couple of backroom staff member that did leave of their own accord because obviously not getting paid, and you're free to do that. But no, it's not something that I'm fully aware of how many backroom staff that Henrik Pedersen's got. Because at the start of the season, it looked like, obviously with Danny Rowell moving on and Chris Powell not coming back, obviously he was a massive loss to Sheffield Wednesday. Henrik Pedersen stood up, stayed on at Sheffield at the club, but I wasn't fully aware of obviously the amount of staff. But it does seem quite a lot for like you said for a team that should be for a club, sorry, that should be shedding the pennies where they can. But no, it's a new one on me, that one.
It's something where I know that we're talking about people's livelihoods here, and a lot of
Yeah.
people were probably slating me now, saying, how dare you go talking about that staff who are currently in administration. But I just found it interesting that you had so many analysts and physiotherapists and masseuses, and I think that's one thing that happened to Derby when they were in administration. Those people unfortunately went out the door quite quickly, and sometimes you need to go back to the bare bones to get that team unity. But we'll leave that to one side and quickly go into Monday night. And what's the expectation of the crowd, and what's the expectation of Sheffield Wednesday for the visit at Derby County? And is there any form of optimism that you're going to turn us over? Because I can tell you now, it's Christmas and we're the team of giving, and as we spoke about before, mate, we seem to be that team that give people who are on their arses 3 points.
I will gladly receive that present of 3 points, Chris. I won't mind saying that. Yeah, look, it's we haven't won at home all season. We've only won one game. That was away, we mentioned earlier. So Monday night, it's going to be no doubt cold. It's going to be wet. Um, Look, the last few weeks for Sheffield Wednesday fans have not been the greatest in the club's history, but the fans have turned out. They from the boycott of before the administration to turning up week in week out has been fantastic to Wednesday fans. But there comes a point where obviously we know where we are on the pitch, we know why we're there on the pitch, but are fans going to want to come out on a 7:45, 8 o'clock kickoff, apologies, on Monday night in the cold and wet to see Sheffield Wednesday probably lose? Probably not. So it's a hard one for us. The we have to start with, and it's easy to say, we have to start winning. We have to start putting in performances. We obviously lost Preston 3-2 last time out at home, which we shouldn't have. We should have won. Again, should have won. Watford should have won. So it's not like we're getting battered 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 every week. It's not that bad. The performances the guys are putting on are the performances they can put on. Like I said, we're a threadbare squad. We've got injuries. We've got players playing every minute. That some weeks we're playing three games a week, and like I say, for all that we laud Barry Bannon at 35 plus years old, um, even he is struggling. He came off at half time against Watford for a knock, but I think it was more precautionary than it was necessity. So it's a tough one. Derby County, yes, I know. You mentioned your stats. I think is it 6 out of 10 you've won. You've not won in three. So we're taking all that. But it's going to be a hard one. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday. You know what you're going to get with Sheffield Wednesday. It's going to be as much effort as possible, apart from when you play in the derby, because that was horrendous. But the players are going to give everything they can give. They're probably running on empty already, coming into one of the busiest times of the season as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough ask.
Yeah, and I do feel for you, generally do, and I think going back to that Sheffield derby, that was embarrassing. I'm sorry, but Sheffield United fans, if you listen to this, I don't care, and I've got a great relationship with a couple of your guys at United, but the way you celebrated that was just ridiculous. You know what I mean? I've never seen. I understand Wilder and all about him trying to get that
Yeah.
side of the city united, but come on, you know, show some bloody. Oh, I don't know. Let's show some
It's a
class.
tough one. That
As
it's a
Roy
tough
Keane
one
would
though,
say,
isn't
show
it?
some class.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
tough one because obviously the after the game and everything what happened, but then would I be if we'd have just beat Sheffield United at Bramall Lane 3-0? Would I be as magnanimous in a win? I don't think so. I think I'd want them to do that. Do you know what I mean? If it was my team, so it's a bit when you're on the receiving end, it's a tough one. And
yeah.
it was more the fact that the effort that not all but majority of the players put in that game was more for Sheffield Wednesday fans that took more umbrage on rather than
Okay.
the celebrations. So
Was it? Yeah, but that could always be also the magnitude of the actual the game. You
of
know,
course,
when you put young lads on a stage of that caliber, you know, you either sink or you swim, and unfortunately, you got the first of those two. So, but
yeah,
they could turn it around coming back to Hillsborough. So, let's get back to Derby County, and I'll visit you on Monday night. How do you see it
yeah.
going?
Um, so I've got it going that over the last 5 or 6 home games at Essex, we've conceded early goals, really early goals. We scored early ourselves against Preston, but first 15 minutes at Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough is probably key for us. If we score, then we have shown that we can keep it for a little bit, but obviously the goals are going to come. We do need to tighten up at the back. We like to brought Liam Cooper in, which is going to help. the concentration for Sheffield Wednesday is key. If we go 1-0 down in those, then it's going to be a tough evening. Even so, I've got it going as a 1-1 draw. Hopefully, it's a 1-1 draw. Um, we need the 3 points, of course we do, but any point and any sort of performance is what I'm going to take out of it. I want to see Sheffield Wednesday win. Of course I do. But we know it's a tough old season, and if the guys all 11 or 15, however many get on that pitch, if they put in a performance and put in the effort that they can, and we know they can, then it'll make for a good game. But it'll also make for, even if the result goes against us, I'll walk away with that going, look, we know where we are on the pitch. We just want the effort from the guys. And if we come away with a draw or a narrow defeat, then so be it. But for me, I know this sounds really, really depressing on a Saturday morning, Chris. I ain't got no Sheffield Wednesday to ruin my Saturday. I'm ruining it myself here, I think. But yeah, 1-1 for me. I'm going to go for. I'll tell you what. I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for a Charlie McNeil goal. Charlie McNeil goal because he's in some great form. He scored 3 in the last 2 games, so he's on good form. So a young lad, Charlie McNeil, for me to score 1-1.
It's just an interesting one for Derby because we can't string 2 or 3 passes together, never mind 2 or 3 goals at the moment. And our team are quite susceptible to counter-attacking, as you saw Leicester tear one on us
Yeah.
last week on for everyone to see. And just, it just shows you the frailties that Derby County have when you come across a team that has a budget of 250 million quid still playing for them. So read into that what you will. Either Leicester or I think they're another team. Unfortunately, will get a point deduction at some point. I think that's
Yeah.
that's inevitable. But we hit them at the bad time. We're full of injuries at the moment. We can't string an open play goal together at the moment, which seems to be our season. We're set piece specialists, as we spoke about pre-show. So I'm going to also go for a 1-1, and I think Sandro Langas is going to get us out of the mire. I think you'll probably take an early lead because Derby County tend at the moment to give people a quick. Although saying that, we scored early against Borough and we were 2-0 up against Watford and we were in the dizzy heights of third at one moment and I had to sit down and take paracetamol. But we're back to the high heights of
But
16th. So I'm going to go 1-1.
Is your goal going to come from a set piece?
Yeah, so I tell you now, mate. We are reliant heavily on corners and long throw-ins and set balls. So if you guys can't defend for Toffee, it could be a very long night for you. What I will say is that on the other end of the pitch, we can neither defend set plays at the moment. We used to be renowned for being the clean sheet specialist. Now we just go, there's our goal, take a pot. In fact, you missed, take another one. We just can't defend for love of money at the moment. So if you can't defend set pieces, mate, it could be 6-6.
Uh, yeah, we've got a real issue, and it's not just this season. It's not something I'm going to use excuses for the stuff, but it has been quite a theme for the last. Oh, we're going to go 5 or 6 seasons of Sheffield Wednesday unable to defend set pieces, corners, free kicks, you name it. And it doesn't matter who the personnel is the centre halves are, or who the back 4, 5 are. It's just something that's ingrained in Sheffield Wednesday that they're struggling. So hopefully not. But yeah, I'll. It's probably nailed on, and if anyone's listening that are gambling people, that you're probably going to have a fiver on a centre half scoring from a corner.
Well, all our centre halves are 6 foot plus. So
Oh no.
if you got any people at the back who are 5'10" and below, they're in for a very long night. But Ash, it's been really good to catch up again on a fine Saturday morning. We're recording this early before we have our fry ups and get back to the daily chores of being family men. So
Yeah.
where can we catch you? Because like I said, you guys and girls are a really good show. It always makes me laugh, and I had a great chat with you today and Steve last year, and we went into the realms of Sheffield basketball of all diverse
Oh.
conversations because I'm a for people who don't know, I'm a basketball referee as well, so I'm in Sheffield a lot. So Where can they find
Oh,
you and follow some of your fantastic content?
oh, thank you. Yeah, Steve, you would have talked to Stevie for days about that. His daughter is an up and coming player. She's
Yes,
fantastic, and
cheers,
so
cheers.
he's all on our group chat with the videos of her playing. Yeah, he's all over the country with her as well. So yeah. With the Wednesday Week podcast, we're on all the socials, like YouTube. You can find us X. We do a lot on. But thank you very much for your kind words. Yeah, we try our best. It's a good laugh. We're a diverse mixed bunch of older, younger, and people that talk Sheffield Wednesday. There's no shortage of things to talk about in the last 6 months, so we've done quite well out of it. It's content that we put out has been fun. We're not so much stat based and all that good stuff. We're more about just having a good time, and we're a bit of a laugh, and we do some good stuff as well, and try and do a bit of charity work as well, which we're really proud of on the channel. So thank you very much, Chris. Yeah, if anyone wants to pass on an hour or so of inane crap jokes and stuff, so we go live. We go live on a Monday night. So yeah, 8 o'clock. So if anyone wants to, or maybe next week, any Derby fans, we do have quite a lot. I tell you what, we do have quite a lot of like